Spencer Schwellenbach's first career complete game keys Atlanta to a 6-2 win to take the series for the first time since mid-May. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. He's Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. Follow him on social media at Shorts.Ball. Make sure you subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta, wherever you get your podcasts, so that you can get all of the great content from Jake and the rest of the Locked On Sports Atlanta crew. Jake, 6-2 victory for the Braves over the Milwaukee Brewers. There was an open question you and I had last night about would Atlanta see Monday's offense or Tuesday's offense? And we got Monday's offense, couple home runs here, but we have to start with Spencer Schwellenbach. He takes only 105 pitches for a complete game, first of his career, and pitch number 100 was a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. How impressive has Schwellenbach's growth been, not only this season, but especially the last few starts with the velocity bump we've seen?
Yeah, the velocity bump is huge because even without that, I mean, I came into the year, I put pretty high expectations on him, saying he would finish, top 3, top 5 in the Cy Young, and definitely looked like that through his first couple of starts. Then he hit a bit of a speed bump, but over these last handful of starts now, you've seen the velocity tick up, and we know he has the pitch mix and the command to be a really good pitcher, even without the ability to throw 98, 99, even 100, like we've seen him do here lately. So you add that in with his command and all the pitches that he has, and it's honestly not fair. And so it's great to see that. And you saw the efficiency in this one too. I mean, he was rocking and rolling, especially through those first 6 innings. Maybe that 4th time through, they started to see him a little bit better and worked him a little bit more.
It's the 4th time through.
Yeah, but he was still able to get through it in just over 100 pitches. It looked like he was going to get a Maddox here, the way it was going early on, but he's been absolutely incredible. And again, he's looking like that big upside guy that I know a lot of others thought he could be.
Yeah, and Milwaukee's runs, they get a leadoff home run in the second by Rhys Hoskins. And this is another situation where if you go back and you look at the home run, it's a really good pitch. He gives him a center cut sinker. It's called strike because Rhys Hoskins doesn't swing a lot at the first pitch. And then he throws a sinker down and in that Hoskins goes down to get and takes out. Hard to be mad about that. And then in the 8th inning, the run that they get is Sal Frelick singles to get on. He gets moved to second on a ground out and then scores off of a double by catcher Eric Haas. And that was one where he left a fastball kind of center cut. He had started with a cutter. He put a four-seamer in the exact same place, and Haas gets it. Outside of that, it really didn't feel like they were even getting great swings off of Schwellenbach. I know he had, 6 hard hit balls in this one, but it really didn't feel like they were seeing the ball that well and were getting great swings off of him. Is it fair to say that it feels like he could have been 2 pitches away from a shutout, or is that just wishful thinking after the fact and we should just be happy that we got the win in a complete game?
Yeah, I mean, don't push your luck too much with this Braves team right now. You got a complete game shutout in a win, but I mean, he did pitch, that well that it's just a couple of pitches, like you said, the one to Hoskins wasn't even a bad pitch, but
yeah.
Going to that 4-seamer, used it 54 times today. Again, it's just become such a dynamic pitch for him. 11 whiffs on the 4-seamer. And it just makes everything else play up whenever he does want to go to either the splitter, the cutter, the slider, the sinker, the curveball. And it's just, again, it's not fair when you're able to do that and locate it. It's not just enough to throw it. He's able to locate those pitches, which just makes it so impressive. So, yeah, I mean, I think he probably has a complete game shutout in his career, but you'll certainly take this one his first time going the distance. And with how efficient he is, I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities for him to get that complete game shutout at some point.
Yeah, and to your point on the control with it, no walks today, which is the Spencer Schwellenbach thing. He doesn't walk a lot of guys, doesn't break double-digit strikeouts in this one, unfortunately. He was on a streak of 2 consecutive outings. I think it was 0 walks and 10 or more strikeouts. And there was a really short list of guys in modern MLB who had done it 3 straight times. Bummer he's not joining that list. But another thing, and I touched on it earlier, we saw the velocity. His yearly average has creeped up to 97 miles an hour on the four-seamer, 98.2 today. So I think the softest one he threw was still 96. And to your point, when you're pumping fastballs in those locations at that velocity over and over, and they've already shown they can't catch up to it and they can't hit it. One, that's why Drake Baldwin kept going back to that well. We've talked about that on the show a lot. But then two, it just makes everything else, to your point. It makes the splitter better. He got 3 whiffs on 6 swings. It makes the slider, the cutter, everything else go well. And he didn't really have to use a lot of those secondary pitches. I was surprised. It was nothing else was over 15% usage. And both the sinker and the curveball were under 6%. It just felt like he was never really in trouble, even when there'd be a leadoff hitter like the Frelick inning. Never really struggled. And to your point, I think he is definitely going to be on that list of guys who will eventually throw a complete game shutout.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. Like I said, mainly just because of not mainly, it's a lot of reasons, but because of the efficiency, because he doesn't walk batters, because he pounds the strike zone. And then on top of that, his stuff is just so good. So I'm excited. Again, I know a lot of people were kind of worried early on. He had a bit of hiccups. He still had 2 starts this year where he's given up 6 earned runs. He had one where he gave up 4, but outside of those, and the big key is, and I kind of just alluded to it, the fact that he's giving you a length every time out. It's now he went 7 innings, 6 1/3, 6, and now 9. That is just really big when we talk about a bullpen that you don't really trust a lot of arms coming out of there right now. What's one way to deal with that? Throw complete games. Have your starters who you do trust throw complete games. So he kind of took care of that one too and gave those guys a little bit of extra rest, which is always helpful.
That was the next place I was going, was bullpen can't blow a lead if you don't let the bullpen get in the game. And that's something
interesting, though. I will note Dylan Lee was up.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe noteworthy. We talked about the other day how good he looked coming into that game, even though it ended up being a 7-1 lead. But he looked good in that 9th inning, and we'll see. Does he get some save opportunities going forward? But that was the arm that Snitker was going to go to if Schwellenbach got into trouble in that 9th inning.
Yeah. Shameless plug. Today's newsletter on BravesToday.com was why Dylan Lee has the stuff to be a closer for the Atlanta Braves this year. So go check that out. All right. In just a second, I want to talk about the offense. We did see, I felt like really good effort from the offense up and down. We talked about this yesterday. We kind of previewed it. We'll do that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. You ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Because Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, your investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. There's no need to juggle multiple apps to track your shared and your personal accounts with your partner. You can just do everything in one place. Set goals, stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. And then you can also get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades with Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you're a DIYer who needs help with your order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. For trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. And everybody, professionals and DIYers alike, can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's at supplyhouse.com. All right, Jake, 6-2 win for the Braves to take the series. The big thing for the offense, some things we love, some things we don't. I do think 10 hits, 2 home runs, no extra base hits other than the 2 home runs. I'm going to chalk some of that up to this very good Milwaukee defense. But I keep thinking about your magic number you always look for of 8 or less strikeouts. Atlanta walks 4 times, but they strike out 12 times. Felt like some of the bottom of the order struggled a little bit with that. Eli White goes 0 for 4 with 2 punchies. Michael Harris gets the home run, strikes out twice. Drake Baldwin 1 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. It still feels like it's cautious optimism that even with this, it's not the 2023 offense, but even the offense you saw today should be good enough for the Braves to win more than half of their games going forward. It's just a question of, can better pitchers make you more vulnerable with the strikeouts?
Yeah, and I mean, look, Milwaukee's starting staff has been really good. I still think this was a series where the Braves offense had a chance in 3 straight games to really do some key things, because it's not like it was pitchers that were going to overpower you. And unfortunately, to a degree, they did. I mean, we talked about it yesterday with Quinn Priester getting 7 Ks in 6 innings he had a 15% strikeout rate coming in. Now, Chad Patrick, he had a little bit more success with the strikeouts, but again, the offense still able to get to him. But you mentioned it. The key, in the middle game of the series, you had 3 extra base hits, but they were all doubles. This one, you only have 2 extra base hits, but they're home runs. And, home runs, they lead to automatic runs. That's how those work. So it makes it a lot easier for this team to score. And that's what this team was built to do. Now, you'd love to have a little bit of both. You'd love to have, 2 home runs and 2 doubles out of, your 10 hits, but they were able to get the home runs in this one and do it with a runner on each time. So that's key, obviously. But I loved that second inning, because you did get the 2-run home run, but then you also got another add-on run with 2 outs in that one. You got the walk from Nick Allen, then you got the single from Acuna, and then you got the big 2-out RBI hit there from Drake Baldwin. So certainly love seeing that in addition to the home runs. I talk about it all the time. It's got to be a little bit of both. The 12 strikeouts, though, way too much. 3 of them coming from Drake Baldwin, who Saul Mass mentioned this in the comment section yesterday. He has cooled off quite a bit here lately. But again, 12 strikeouts, way, way too much. You did get the 4 walks in this one, and obviously the 10 hits. That's generally going to lead to 4+ runs, and that's been the magic number for this Braves offense. If they can get to 4 or more runs with this pitching staff, you feel pretty good about their chances. But look, there's no denying it. Again, as much as I love to see this offense be more well-rounded, it comes down to, can they get those 2-run home runs? That's going to be the key to this team's success. And you feel like you have a lineup that's capable of giving you 1 or 2 of those a game up and down the lineup with the power that you have. It just hasn't been there for them as much this season as we thought it would be.
Yeah, and a bunch of people in the comments have kind of said this, and I was getting there eventually, people, I promise. Having Nick Allen be able to get on twice in front of Ronald Acuna Jr. feels kind of key, because I think was it yesterday that we talked about this, where Ronald hitting with nobody, like leading off an inning and getting on and nobody able to get him in. The one time he had an inning where somebody was on in front of him, I think it was the Nick Allen double, he immediately drove him in. And so Allen getting on multiple times there feels like that's a big part of that. Part of me still kind of wants Michael Harris to be down there, simply because, that worked so well for you for the longest time, as having Harris batting 9th. But either way, getting somebody on in front of Ronald, I think in a perfect world, you probably don't even have Ronald batting leadoff, but that's where he wants to be. You're not going to change that. So in this case, get somebody in front of him who can get on a bunch of different ways. Going back for a second on the strikeouts, the one thing I will say is 19 whiffs for Atlanta on Chad Patrick. And I think the frustrating thing there is the fastball has decent velocity, but it didn't feel like he was doing anything amazing with it. Atlanta had whiffs on every single pitch. I mean, 7 on the cutter and 20 swings, 5 swings on the changeup, 3 whiffs, 6 swings on the slider, 4 whiffs. They hit 7 of the 8 sinkers there, but just too many whiffs from an offense. And yes, you got the home runs. I worry about a little bit better locations. Maybe you're not getting those home runs and the whiffs are still there. So little concerning with that, but outside of that, just hard to complain about the offense in this one overall. I just wanted to nitpick there for a second.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good 8 called strikes too. So you wonder if there's a little bit of aggressiveness from the team in this one. I'm going to to swing a lot more, which obviously is going to lead to some more whiffs. Kind of similar, I think, to the Grant Holmes start the night before. 20 whiffs. I think that was just a product of a team that was swinging a lot. But yeah, I mean, you get against better pitching, better competition. You're going to want more contact than that.
And I know that you're going to go into much more detail on this on the next episode of Locked On Braves. So again, everybody, subscribe if you're listening on audio or video. But you have the Rockies at home for 3 this weekend. And as of right now, they are 12-54. I know that you won 2 out of 3 from the Brewers. You needed to do that. You needed to get a series win. Is it right for us to expect a series sweep against the Rockies when you couldn't do it last time simply because of how bad they are?
This has to be a sweep. I mean, it's June 11th, going to be June 13th. I think that's how math works. When this series
Friday
starts,
the 13th.
Yeah. Well, that's not good. But it has to be a sweep. Look, I say it all the time. You have put yourself in such a huge hole. You cannot give away games like this. It felt like in that Rockies series, in that finale, after they looked so great in those first 2 games, they just fell asleep in that one. And then it led to just 2 weeks of frustration offensively after that. And so you can't have any let-ups really the rest of the way. I mean, that's how much of a hole you put yourself in. You cannot have any let-ups, and you cannot let games like this get away. So this one, and then the Marlins one coming up in a couple series too. I mean, you need at least a sweep in one of those and a series win in the other. You can't let these series get away, and you're going to have to sweep some teams if you are going to pull yourself out of this.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be a 5-1 set on those 2 series there. Shout out to Zach in the chat for pointing out it is Friday the 13th for both teams, but I do think Aaron has a good point too. Could this be an Orlando RC revenge series? I really hope it's not. I'm a believer in the revenge game. I really hope that's not what this is. Braves have announced their starters: Bryce Elder on Friday, Spencer Strider on Saturday, Chris Sale on Sunday. Small part of me thinks if you win the first 2 games of the series, maybe you find a way to bump Sale back to the opener of the Mets series. We'll see what the Braves decide to do as we get there.
Wasn't that the case the last time they played the Rockies? They didn't bump Sale, and then the offense just got shut out and wasted a good Sale start. So
yeah, and so part of me is like, if you win the first 2, maybe you just bump Sale and you take your chances with either a bullpen game now that you're well rested and you have a day off after the series, or you do something else. This has been the Braves Postcast for Wednesday, June 11th. Again, 6-2 victory for the Braves over the Brewers to take the series 2-1. First series win since you were in Boston in mid-May. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when Jake goes live with his mailbags in his next episode, when we come back with you to talk about the next Atlanta Braves victory, hopefully the first in a series sweep by Atlanta over the Rockies on Friday. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.